Guatemala, over 50% of the population live off of agriculture. The majority of them are living in rural locations and are below the poverty line. We're here working with an exciting NGO called Semilla Nueva that has big hopes and aspirations to combat these important issues.
The majority of the world's poor people rely on agriculture for their livelihoods. And at the same time, the way that they farm creates cycles of poverty where they basically degrade their land to get higher yields. And in the long term, that becomes a trap. They end up producing less and less and needing to spend more and more. And you get stuck in poverty that way. If you add up the cost of fertilizer, if you add up the costs of tilling, and even start to look at the cost of labor, then most farmers end up paying to farm corn and beans and the basic staples. And that's a huge problem. It means that agriculture, instead of lifting people out of poverty, is actually sucking them deeper and deeper into it. And so our whole goal then is, how can we work on lifting farmers out of poverty by teaching them ways to grow more sustainably and more effectively?
We're working to collaborate with local farmers through a system called the promotor system, also known as the farmer-to-farmer system. And through this model, we're educating farmers who then go on to educate their neighboring farmers and the local communities about sustainable agriculture practices. One of our promotors, Ender Lopez, in the town of Chacana Grande in the Tierra Fria, has been working really hard to implement worm composting practices with his community. And he held a workshop in May where community members were able to come and learn how to make a worm compost on their own. And he's very enthusiastic about pursuing alternative practices that are both economically viable and environmentally sustainable for his land so that he can continue farming for many years to come.
No plástico. No plástico. Entonces necesitamos conocer bien qué se hace en la agricultura, cómo tener buenos resultados y pues manejar bien la agricultura en nuestra casa. ¿Cuál es la relación de Semilla Nueva con mi familia y mi comunidad? Es una relación buena porque todos están interesados en conocer a la gente que viene de Semilla Nueva y también conocer el proyecto.
Semilla Nueva right now is excited about 3 technologies. 2 of these, agroforestry and green manures, allow farmers to grow their own fertilizer, which helps them reduce their biggest cost. And the third one, conservation tillage, helps them protect their soil from droughts, floods, and other big problems. People think that this is a crazy idea. They think it's going to attract bugs and snakes and all sorts of stuff, but it's only when they try it, put it into practice for a year or 2, see the results, they have somebody from their community being able to show the results that really works out.
Bueno, sí, nosotros aquí tenemos que, nuestros ancestros nos han enseñado a juntar todos los residuos de cosechas anteriores y quemarla, después labrar la tierra, pero eso ha ido afectando porque se necesita cada año más químicos para poder cosechar.
Isaías Alvarado was our gateway into this community and also our first promotor. What that means is that he worked with us to help develop the first technologies that we utilized in this area, helped us refine them, and helped to bring the community together around them. He's been an amazing, amazing assistant in this whole process and the key to it.
Los modelos, las técnicas son muy buenas porque si podemos ahorrarnos plata para cosechar y cosechar más, si invertimos menos y cosechamos más, va a ser muy beneficioso para nosotros. ¿Por qué? Porque vamos a mejorar. No solo para en condición de vida, sino que también para la agricultura y para mejorar nuestros terrenos también.
The soil really represents the thin skin that we depend on for most of our global food production. And by working with these rural farmers, we really think that we can facilitate a global change and establish food security, really fight malnutrition, fight global climate change and greenhouse gas emissions, and leave behind a legacy of organization and community.
One of the things that makes our work sustainable for us is the fact that we get to work with these gigantic Guatemalan families. I mean, you stay in a farmer's house and there's 40 people running around, uncles and cousins and 30 little kids, and you just feel so welcome and so warm and so invited. that you just keep wanting to find ways that you can get involved. And more than that, you keep finding ways that you can become more a part of the family. It's one of the most beautiful cross-cultural experiences that I think any of us have ever had, and something that we really cherish.